Hello there, welcome to my channel and my first vlog. My name's Jackie, also known as Midlife Eventer for, I hope, reasons that will become apparent. I'm an amateur rider. I have fun with my horses. I do a lot of hacking out in the countryside, live in the amazing Pennines, some competitions, a bit of jumping, a bit of dressage, some training. But the thing I've always wanted to do, a childhood dream, has been to event. So this is what this channel is going to be all about. I sadly, as the title of this vlog actually suggests, have now turned 50, and it is January 2024, and I have decided that this is the year I am going to give it a proper go. For one reason or another, work, life, you name it, never really had the time to dedicate to properly trying to progress. And then got diagnosed with fibromyalgia a couple of years ago, and have had the added gift of perimenopause, and I've decided, you know what, it's now or never. And this vlog is all about my adventures of becoming some sort of midlife eventer. I'm partly wanting to do that to share with friends and family, partly just in case it's of interest or use to anybody else who might be having similar experiences, but mainly for me. I always find it incredibly helpful to record my riding and then reflect back on it and learn and improve, but I also want to just have a bit of a memory to look back on in years to come and remember the fun that hopefully we will have had. This is Monty. He's gonna knock the camera over. Monkey. Right, try again. This is Monty. He is an ex-racehorse. He's 12 years old now, 17 hands, and as you can see, he's a character. If he was a human, he'd be a professional footballer. He is very playful, he is expensive to keep, and he does not think a lot of himself, don't you? But we have a lot of fun. Done. Oh, there's the monster. Perry's 25, 16.3, Irish draft cross thoroughbred, kind of semi-retired. And if you were a human, what job would you have, Perry? You would just be a gentleman. There's little Douglas, pint-sized pocket rocket, miniature Shetland. He's 22, rescue pony, who is my neighbour's and whose daughter is learning to ride on. You're such a good boy, Douglas, aren't you? Little dude. So we have a few other four-legged babies in the family that I'm going to introduce in this video, because they'll undoubtedly make an appearance in other videos as we go through. This is Toby. Toby is our 3-year-old rescue dog from Macedonia. He actually have no clue what he is. Keep meaning to do a DNA test on him and see what he might have in him. If I had to guess, I would go part Doberman, part Dachshund, and part Gazelle, because oh my goodness, can he jump high from the ground. And we've got Rosie. Rosie is our 9, I think she is now, okay, rescue dog. She is a Springer Collie Cross. Along with the dogs, we've got the 3 cats, one of the twins, Bonnie and Clyde. They are half Bengali. They were rescue kittens that we got when they were 3 months old. They're now 6. We have Charlie. Charlie is the big softie of the family. He is 10, half ragdoll, half tabby, and Charlie is the boss of the family, as demonstrated when he comes walking the dogs with us. So just to touch on briefly the, well, not necessarily the turning 50, but I guess the health stuff that's come with that. As I said, I found myself juggling the fun of perimenopause, which I don't think needs that much explanation. The benefits of that, though, is that at least that warmth does make rising in the winter nicer. And then we've got the fibromyalgia, not that well understood, or certainly not by me anyway. There are constant companions that affect most people that change in intensity and frequency, and generally things like chronic pain, fatigue, and brain fog, which is ideal to have on top of the menopausal forgetfulness. And then there's other stuff that can be different for different people. So I get numb fingers and toes. I don't have that much of a grip. I get dizziness, poor balance, coordination at different times. I'm not going to go into lots of detail here, and I'm going to probably do a bit of a video to just record how it does affect my riding. Again, something I can kind of look back on and see what changes. And as we know, horses don't really care about any of this. So when I forget which side is left or right during the dressage tests, when I miss out a fence because I've forgotten the course, or just when my balance is slightly off when we're jumping, he's definitely very patient and forgiving with me. So a little bit on my horsey background, which I think is definitely where my obsession with all things horse and pony came from. Background both on mum and dad's side. On my mum's side, my gran used to have racehorses. She had a few, she bred a few, she had a couple of successful ones. And I remember as a kid going to the races with my mum and my gran and seeing the horses and the atmosphere of being around the horses and just being really in love with these magnificent beasts and wanting to have one and be riding one. On my dad's side, my granddad used to buy and train horses and again race horses. So I think it was inevitable that I was going to be into horses. And my granddad encouraged that obsession by buying a pony for us. This is Penny. She came to us, gosh, I think she was 17, 18 when we got her as a pony to learn to ride on and take care of and have some fun with. We used to ride her all over the farm and have little jumping courses and had a really lovely time with her. Sadly, she got laminitis though a few years later, and she had to be put to sleep. I then borrowed other people's horses. I did a few hacks and a little bit of jumping and went on horsey holidays. But I only really properly started riding again about 18 years ago, and definitely back as a beginner. When we moved to the farm, my lovely friend Sarah loaned me one of her horses, Tika. She's the larger grey horse in this picture. Tika definitely knew her own mind. She was brilliant as a first horse to have as my own to look after and to ride. We also got a little Oscar, the little grey pony in this photo, as a companion for her, and had a year or so before then getting the first horse I've ever properly owned. My lovely boy Perry, who I got in 2008, so 14 years ago, and he was a very quirky jumper. I was a total novice at jumping, and it took us a long time to learn how to jump well together. I dug out some of our photos just to see what changed over the years. First one here, 2009. I'd had Perry about a year at this point. It was our first ever camp. It was my first ever camp. And there's a few photos of me with my tongue out, me looking down. There's a lovely sequence of which this is one where I come off as Perry swerves to the side. These three things, the tongue, the looking down and the falling off, are common themes I'll keep coming back to. 2010, 12 months on, we go to our next camp. In between, I may have had a few sporadic lessons, but nothing really that regular in terms of jumping. A few competitions locally, but more showing like equitation type stuff and some very small working hunter maybe. But again, the tongue's back, I'm looking down, and again I did fall off, but I don't have a photo of that one. 2011, think probably went to camp, but I don't have photos, so don't know. But we did our first, what I class as proper competition. It was a Northwest competition rather than a local riding club one in Working Hunter. And oh my goodness, look at me, I'm poor Perry. We got eliminated at the fourth fence, I think. And again, elimination's a theme I'll keep coming back to. We also did some farm rides, and this photo's of one of those, I think it was the winter that year, which, you know, we were definitely jumping better together, but again, my position leaves a lot to be desired. And then camp following year, 2012, we look like we're actually in sync and got a goodish partnership there. We are jumping some slightly bigger jumps and a bit more technical, but yeah, still not great in terms of position. I can't remember if I fell off in 2012, but possibly, probably. So I guess looking back, what is really obvious, frustrating, is that the fact that we really had very little proper regular training or lessons in between the camps, really. It was very slow progress, and to be honest, it often felt like we were starting again each time. In 2019, when I got Monty, I really aimed to address this. I was going to get a regular trainer, have a proper plan, but COVID hit. My fibromyalgia started impacting my riding, so it didn't quite go to plan. I call myself an amateur rider, and that description is because whilst I can ride okay, I have definitely got a lot still to learn. As you can see here, it's okay. We're jumping pretty confidently, but same session, maybe even the jump after, I get unbalanced and, oh, there we go, plop off. So 2024, really hoping that we'll be able to see bigger and better improvements. I think we're capable, but I guess we'll see. I'll keep sharing with you, sharing on this vlog our journey, and we'll see how it goes. Shh. that is a little bit of an intro to me, to us, and to the start of what I hope is a bit of an adventure as a midlife eventer. The next video I'm going to probably do a bit more in depth what the 5 years of being with Monty has actually been like. But until then, if you enjoyed it, which hopefully you did, please do like, subscribe and comment, I think is what I'm supposed to say. And see you in the next one.